Good afternoon, everyone. This is Magic Mom 101, and I'm Nina Diedrich, and welcome back. I've taken a little bit of a break, and, well, to be honest, I missed you guys all too much, and, well, the job didn't really work out, and I'm looking for another one, but I gotta wait a couple more weeks, so here I am again. Hello, Sandra. I'm so good to see you. Okay, so if you have not noticed, I am also back on social media. So you can go find me again through the links in the channel art. I'm back on Facebook, Instagram. I never left Pinterest because, oh my God, Pinterest. And also, I'm on Snapchat, which is really fun. Thank you. You're beautiful as always. And I'm sending you immense amounts of love. So we're going to do a few really fun things. We're going to talk about the full moon, which was today at 1:30 Pacific Standard, well, 1:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I guess maybe it's a little bit, I don't know, fated that I come on at 1:30 p.m. Who knows? It works, right? Okay, so the meanings in an energetic term as far as full moons go, obviously the full moon happens when the moon is opposite the sun, right? So it's getting all of that lovely, glorious energy, right? So you can imagine that that kind of heightens the energies around this full moon period too. So if you've been feeling a little bit wonky, that's probably why. Let me take a quick look really quick and see what the energetics are doing as far as the Schumann or Gaia resonance goes. It's not too bad. We had a little bit of a spike yesterday that some people might still be feeling a little bit today. But I think a lot of this is really going to have to do with the aspects that are going on right now, which are kind of exciting. And I have some notes about all of this because all the astrological stuff is sort of still kind of a little bit confusing, and I'm still on a huge learning curve as far as that goes in keeping everything straight. So forgive me if I keep looking down at my papers. I'm looking at my notes here that I printed out right before I came live, which is the whole reason why I was a little bit late. I had planned to come on at 1:11 because, well, you know, I don't know, 3 is kind of the number of the year. And, oh, I wish you guys could see the eagle just flew up the river right there, and I was just saying that too, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, back to what I was saying. The full moon was at 1:30, and it was in Sagittarius. I believe it was at 25 degrees. Yeah, 25 degrees. And some people are saying this could be one of the most important moon phases of this whole year. June is also the strawberry moon, which doesn't really have anything to do with the actual color of the moon, but the fact that, well, the strawberries are starting to become ripe right now. Most of the moon names actually came from old Native American terms, and that was how they used to keep all of the months straight. And that was back before we used like calendar days and things like that. They counted time by the moon cycle instead, and every moon had a specific name, and that's how they would keep better track of it. Okay. I am using a lot of clear quartz right now to kind of just help to magnify the high vibration that I'm trying to spread out for everyone. So I don't know if that could be something that you could help to do too. It would be great. And they're pretty cheap and easy to get a hold of too, right? So this full moon also coincides with two major planetary aspects, one involving Jupiter squaring Neptune, and the other one involves a sextile between Saturn and Neptune. So there's a lot of Neptunian energy going on right now, which is kind of makes you feel kind of out in the clouds and a little bit in fantasy land, and you may feel kind of daydreamy and spacey and forget your car keys a lot. That could happen. Just bear with it. It'll start to level out soon. The this full moon is also going to be really important too, because it's the last moon cycle before the new eclipse season starts. So the which I think it was January 5th, was when the last one started. So kind of think back to what started to kind of brew around the beginning of January and what kind of things you've gone through since then. There's been a lot of purging cycles and us kind of retreating and coming out again, and then retreating again, and now we're kind of coming out again, and realizing that there's a way that we can maintain our vibration and still, be in the world, right? So we've kind of learned to embody that whole be in the world but not of it kind of thing. We've learned a little bit of detachment, I think, in our empathic abilities as a collective. We're kind of jumping on the hate bandwagon a lot less and kind of going, hey, whoa, there's got to be another kind of way to do this. It doesn't always have to boil down to violence and unnecessary bloodshed, whether that be in a real sense or just in a figurative one. And the more we kind of do that, the easier it kind of gets. And I think this first 6 months has really kind of been a trial period for what the next 6 months is going to bring into, as we get ready to jump into our next karmic cycle, or lack of karmic cycle, I guess, starting in 2020. Hello, Vanessa. Welcome. Also, to those of you who are, just showing up for the first time, welcome. And those of you who have been following the journey all along, welcome back. And I am overwhelmingly grateful for every single one of your presences here. So there's quite a few aspects right now that are going on with this full moon too, that are kind of going to be pulling a lot of trigger points and things like that. So we're going to kind of go over that too. But I think two of the most important ones are, like I said earlier, the Jupiter square Neptune and the Saturn sextile Neptune. And those are on the 16th and the 18th respectively, which makes it not only the second of both of these aspects, which happened 3 times this year, but the closest of the two of them to happen at the same time. So I think it could have a little bit higher of an impact too on some of us. I'm not sure exactly how that would really affect anyone in an individual sense as far as signs go, just because I'm not quite into all in that deep yet as far as the astrology goes. But the Saturn sextile Neptune aspect, which is on the 18th, which is tomorrow, is kind of going to bring in a stronger self-faith, I guess. I should say it's more going to buoy our self-belief and kind of give us a real reason to start to actually have faith in a physical sense too, and not just in a mental sense where we've been, up until now. A lot of our physical manifestations are starting to now appear too. So watch out for those opportunities and doors opening, and try not to say no to them either, okay? I know sometimes it's going to look like it might be something that should be happening to somebody else, but if it's appearing in your life, it's because it's meant for you, okay? So try not to go, oh, no, somebody else needs that more than me. I can't accept that. And instead go, thank you, universe, for bringing me exactly what I need, exactly when I need it. And, try to leave it at that. So you can be understanding of your limitations while also being optimistic about future that you see fewer of them in yourself, and learn to love the ones that you do have in kind of more of a childlike fashion, right? The Jupiter square Neptune could bring a little bit of disappointment and embarrassment that could make you question those things as well too. So this is kind of going to be a double whammy, and you may either get hit with both, or it could be one or the other. So while the Jupiter square Neptune aspect does bring some sort of a disappointment or an enlightenment of something in your life that needs to be changed, the Saturn sextile Neptune aspect does give us strong faith and self-belief, and the patience to know that you can do things the right way and not take shortcuts, right? This is also going to involve a lot of spiritual wisdom and the knowledge that you have, the self-discipline that it takes to, I guess, help you sacrifice short-term self-gratification for the long-term success of what it is you really want to achieve. And I know that kind of sounds, kind of like poo-pooey, but it could be really the kind of catalyst that we all need to kind of get off our ass and do what it is that we know we need to do, and stop kind of questioning it. The other aspect is a Mercury conjunct Mars, which is going to kind of bring in a more focused and acute way of thinking about things. We're going to kind of be more able to laser point in on what it is that we need to achieve and what it is we want to achieve and how we need to go about doing that too. And while we may not know exactly what it is we need to do or what's going to happen while we are stepping into the process at first, those things are going to come really quickly as you start making the right decisions and choices in what it is, the path it is you're choosing. Okay. So just try to keep in mind whether the choices you're making are out of a fear of not having enough, or whether they're out of the knowledge that everything you need is going to come to you when you need it. And if you don't have it yet, it means you don't need it, right? You may want it, yes, but need and want are two different things, right? So right now we're really working on what it is we need to further our evolvement in this human process and raise humanity up as a collective whole. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we all kind of jump on the bandwagon together. And yeah, sometimes we're going to fall off, but we're all, here to kind of, lift each other back up and go, it's okay. We all have done it. keep trying. You've got this, right? And that's kind of what this whole movement is really about. And it really has a lot less to do with who's right and who's wrong, and more to do with, are you being right or wrong to yourself? And we all know that from the time we're little tiny children, whether something feels right or not. And it's just whether or not we've talked ourselves out of that or not. And that's really being brought to the fore right now as far as what we're doing as a collective whole and individually. So there may be, some hostility out there kind of being directed at you if you are kind of at a higher vibratory state than others around you, but try not to take it personally and just realize that your light is just triggering them to realize that maybe they're not where they want to be or where they need to be right now, and they need to kind of look at where they're going. And so make sure you're choosing your battles carefully and definitely thinking twice before you stick your foot in it, okay? Because while we may be leveling up the consciousness, it's not our job to fix all of them. So you'll know when it's time to step in and when it's time to just step back and watch, okay? So make sure you're working from your observer perspective more than your human one, okay? So basically, having a caring and supportive attitude right now, not only to yourself, but to the people around you, is really going to be key to helping this along. So this is a really good full moon to join new groups, to start them, to start a long journey of some sort, whether it's a spiritual one or a physical one or just a mental one. So starting new classes right now and things like that would be good too. If there's ever something you wanted to learn how to do, now might be that time. So if you've been waiting for a green light, here it is, right? Also, this may be a good time to take any sort of legal action too. The justice card's been popping out quite a bit lately, so you may be justified in some sort of an action that involves the law or things in authority or people in authority, that kind of thing. It's also could mean it's a good time for babies to be born, conceived, or some marriages or unions to be popping up too. So that's pretty common occurrence in June anyway. But that's probably going to be the case until I think probably mid-July, and then there's going to be a little bit of maybe a delay in some things from an energetic standpoint. I haven't quite felt that far ahead yet, so we'll see how that works out towards the new moon on the 3rd, which is also going to be the beginning of our new eclipse cycle too. So that's going to be something to kind of keep your ears poked forward about too. So let's see here. I think that is pretty much it. Oh, I'm sorry. The eclipse is on the 2nd of July, not the 3rd. My bad. So I think that's about it for the astrological stuff. I know energetically, I've definitely been feeling a lot of really deep cycled past life stuff coming up. I know my husband and I have been having a lot of really interesting conversations about weird memories that have cropped up from our past lives together. So it's kind of bringing a whole new dynamic to our soul union too, and it's been pretty great, despite the chaos that has been reigning around us in our physical life. We've been managing to stay on an even keel just because we have our relationship to fall back on. I always joke about how I would love him even in a cardboard box, and that is totally true. I have really come to find that it doesn't really matter what's going on around us as long as we can stay centered in the fact that no matter what happens, we love each other. It's really been helping to kind of keep our vibrations high enough so that we're not calling in things that we don't really want to occur. So that's really going to be key. Do whatever you have to keep your vibration high. And if it's already high, see if you can make it even higher in some way. There's no such thing as being too happy, right? I'm going to get a drink really quick and let's see, trying to decide which cards I'm going to start with. I just pulled out the Oracle cards today, I think. Oh, I do have one tarot deck, so let's pull from the Astrology Answers deck first, just because I do have one out here. And then we'll clarify with all of the Oracle decks I got out. I'm not sure which ones I'll use yet. If you have a request, pop it in the chat box. I think most people know which ones I have and which ones I don't. Ooh, nice. Bonus points for pulling the Magician first, right? Manifesting everywhere. So what is it that you want to call in? What have you been asking for? What have you been working towards, especially since the beginning of January? It may be getting ready to crack wide open for you because, oh my goodness, but what comes out next, the Hermit, I think we're kind of starting to realize what this actually means. Okay, this isn't us hiding away and, pissing and moaning about how awful the world is and how we wish we could change it overnight single-handedly. But it's really about us holding up the light for everyone else, saying, hey, it doesn't matter how bad it looks right now. It's going to get better. As long as that's what you choose. But you have to choose it. Right? So hold up your light, people. It needs to be seen. And the world. I mean, does that really need any explanation? And it's the 21 card. Right? A 3. 3 is the number lately. No matter which way it comes out. The world is, firmly represented by all of the cardinal signs in the zodiac too. It's part of the fun thing that most people don't realize about my personal sign either. So we have the lion for Leo, the bull for Taurus, the Aquarius water bear, and then the eagle for the Scorpio, which happens to be the third transformation that we go through in our personal life cycles. Part of the whole Scorpio transformation life cycle is about us raising ourselves up from the one who stings ourselves because we're pissed off at the world to the one who can rise above it and observe it all, like the eagle. And in order to use that process, we have to go through our phoenix cycle, which is us burning ourselves to the ground. It happens. It's one of my favorite sayings. I had to touch every single fire because I knew they burned. They all burn differently, right? And none of them burned the same. And the crows are agreeing with me. I know, right? We all have our things that we have to go through in this life in order to become the embodiment of what it is that we chose to be in this life. Not do, right? I chose to come here to be a example of what it means to be unconditionally loving. So I've been battling a lifelong obsession with self-loathing and lack of self-confidence. Right? And I started this channel in February of 2018 as a way to put myself out here and realize that I really can be seen and heard, and that there's not really anything scary about the world, no matter what I've been told, and that I'm safe and loved and protected no matter what I do, right? And this isn't going to be one of those lives where I'm burned at the stake because I can tell you a little bit more about yourself than you're comfortable with. It just is what it is, right? And I've had to kind of, learn how to do that. And in that way, I hope it's helping to show a lot of you how to do the same thing in whatever capacity is that you're trying to conquer your self-mastery in this life. That's really what it's about. Mastering the self. Okay. So let's see what the Affirmators deck has to say about the Magician, the Hermit, and the World. And holy shit, I just realized the fact I just pulled 3 major arcanas too, and they all let's see, it's 1, a 6, and 21. So interesting. Let's see. What is the Affirmators? Oh no. Hold on, guys. I might have to go have somebody fetch a card for me. It went under the deck. Oh, tragedies of life moments. Give me a second. Can you go around the house really quick and climb underneath the deck right here to grab my card? Please? All right, I might have to do a little Instagram thing later about what the card was that fell under the deck, because it's going to be a mystery for a minute while I wait for my beautiful 10-year-old to go fetch it for me. So let's get a different card. And what does it say? But there's no need to do, right? I guess that's kind of a real life example of the fact that, it may not be something that we have to see right this second. Although we may actually get to see it before we go off camera. Right? Oops, it's right. It's literally like right here. If you look underneath there, just pull those. Yeah, just move those things away. And you should be able to see it. It looks like this, Layla. Okay. You can watch the video later. Anyway, so no need to do says I'm exactly where I need to be, exactly when I need to be, and there's nothing more I need to do. I mean, yeah, there'll always be laundry and taxes, but in terms of my life's path, I don't need to do anything because I am already here, right? And so are you. So take a deep breath, relax, and trust. And then maybe do a little bit of laundry, because we all know that having too much clutter around us totally makes our brains cluttered too. And then it clutters up everything else. And if you need a little bit of help with that, the soul coaching series that we did with Denise Lynn's book was amazing. So I'll try to link the playlist for that, or maybe somebody else can for me really quick. Let's get one more card out of this deck. There we go. Ooh, and we get a bonus card. And which one is it but forgiveness, right? And I think this is kind of something that we've all been working on really, really hard. And that's been not only the ability to forgive other people for things that we feel that they've done to us that were wrong, but also forgiving ourselves most of all for things that we feel like we've done wrong. And that maybe there's not a way we can really rectify it in some way. And that's kind of, something we kind of need to learn how to get past. So let's see what this says. It says, congratulations, you're being given one of the most powerful superpowers there is, forgiveness. So imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself, too. So, have fun wielding your new power today. Remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. Hold on a second, I'm going to grab my card. Oh, I should have known it was this one. Oh my goodness, if Nara is able to pop on, this is going to be uber funny for her, but the card that fell out of the deck was the same one that came out last time. This happens to be one of our favorite themes around here, but what is it, guys? Our Dino Love Tank, our power card. It's kind of what this channel's been about, most of all, isn't it? By me showing you guys all how I'm harnessing my own personal power every day, you guys are learning how to do it too. And in that way, we're all learning how to do it together. So, remember, you are strong, you're grounded, and you're powerful. You're like a cross between a dinosaur and a tank, but not a tank that's used for war. You're like a peaceful, loving dino tank who feels so strong. He doesn't need to do anything but just be, right? And what do we need to be? Forgiveness. Let's stop and make a little shout out to the children's parable books by Neil Donald Walsh, The Little Soul in the Sun and The Little Soul in the Earth, that tell a little bit of a story about why it is we chose to come here and be forgiveness. I love that. Okay, so let's hop over to Gabrielle Bernstein's Universe Has Your Back deck. And then we'll also pull one from Neil Donald Walsh's deck too. Oh, I love this one. So, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Little shout out to meditation. Right? Love it. Let's get one more. Oh, there's our dragonfly. There she is. So I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided, right? And everything you say, do, or don't do, there is a message there. Okay, let's do Neil Donald Walsh's Divine Wisdom cards, and these are more of kind of a reminder deck of what his basic principles were in that 30 something plus book series. I just read his most recent one too, but it was kind of more of a just a rehash of the things that we'd already talked about in the 100 plus videos I did of his. So here's a good reminder too about what it means to fear or love, right? So the reminder from the divine is fear wraps our bodies in clothing and love allows us to stand naked. Fear clings to and clutches all that we have, and love gives all that we have away. Fear holds close and love holds dear. Fear grasps and love lets go. Fear rankles and love soothes. Fear attacks and love amends. And that's also out of the wedding vow book that he did too, which is also the one I use when I do weddings. I love it. Let's get one more. Sure, that one's going to come out again. There we go. Ah, nice. Okay, so here's our pretty little forest grove, a little pond or a river. I'm not sure which it is. It says, God the Holy Spirit is being, the disembodiment of all that the sun has experienced of itself. The simple, exquisite isness possible only through the memory of knowing and experiencing, right? So we've talked a lot about how in our process, God or the creator is not necessarily some person or something that's going to sit in judgment upon our deaths, but our higher aspect sitting in judgment of us now. And that's the reason you feel things like guilt and anger and whatnot towards yourself about things that you've done. It's not necessarily because you think that somebody is going to ultimately grant you right or wrong status, but just that you've done things that you feel in your heart were not right. And, you know, that's the part that we need to be more guided by. And there's been so much emphasis on how we need to be rational and logical and think things through. And that's made us do a lot of things that ultimately we wouldn't have chosen to do in our hearts. And so those are the things that we're having a harder time kind of rectifying now and kind of getting rid of. And it may not even be things from this life at all, but things from past lives too. So you kind of have to keep that in mind as well. Let's get one from the Earth Magic Oracle by Stephen D. Farmer. I love these guys. Let's see which card we get. That was quick. Ooh. So we get the breach card. Okay, so the breach card always to me kind of represents something else coming up that maybe we haven't looked at yet, or something appearing again that we've looked at from before, but we kind of keep shoving under the rug, you know, and believe it or not, that's not good business practices. So let's see what the book actually says about that, because he sometimes has a different interpretation from mine. I'm more of an intuitive reader, and the messages just come to me. Let's see what whale says. And to me, whales always represent things that are really solid and, you know, around for a really long time too. Okay, so the breach card says, this powerful creature of the ocean takes a few great sweeps with his fins and propels himself briefly out of the waters where he spends the majority of his life. He's taking a break from the ordinary earth element in which he lives to exist even for a few moments in the realm of the blue skies. Of the blue skies and sun. Having broken through the skin of the ocean in a magnificent display of fullness and strength. All baleen whales breach, but none more spectacularly than the humpbacks. considered the acrobats of this family. They arch, stretch, and twist their bodies even as they approach the surface of the water in what may be an ancient mating ritual, a form of communication, or even a way to remove parasites. In this image, the humpback whale that has burst out of the ocean expresses an almost palpable feeling of release and joy. Often, when we manage to change our environment, to break through illusory blockages, we experience an intense feeling of relief and can let go of any previously held fears and assumptions of what would happen once we did overcome that barrier, whether it's material, emotional, or mental. Simply getting away from the trance of technology for a few hours and spending that time in nature is a breach from the trappings of civilization that can suffocate us and prevent us from connecting to Earth. The message of this card says it's time to take a break. Not just a coffee break, but a respite from the usual environment you find yourself in. That trip you wanted to take? Go for it. Tired of being indoors? Make it a point to get outside. You have become so attached to your surroundings that you have created within them an illusion of safety. It's not these things that make you feel safe. Rather, the familiarity you have imbued in your surroundings have generated this false sense of security. Taking time away from the familiar is literally about changing your external environment in a significant way, such as doing something unusual or perhaps something you have always wanted to experience. Another perspective is breaking through the barrier of beliefs that have constricted you in any way from being who you truly are. This is your opportunity to do some intentional reaching of these thought patterns, which will open you to different worlds and perspectives. And that may have been a pretty long-winded way of saying exactly what I just said. But, it does bring the point home, right? Sometimes things are brought to our attention, sometimes in a dramatic display or one that's not so. And but it's our job to figure out what that particular communication is trying to give us, right? So let's go to the Nature's Whispers Oracle by Angela Hartfield and Josephine Wall, who I absolutely adore the artwork in these cards, and I could seriously stare at them forever. Let's get one card on what we could do next. What is our next step? That is right here. Pause with our pretty little fairy. I love this card, and it's the number 4, right? It's kind of my number. So 4 says, these are pretty short, so take a moment to assess what's really going on at this time. You're holding on to control and not allowing many wonderful blessings to come into your life. Grant yourself an opportunity to get into the sunshine, right? You deserve to receive this new prospect, whatever it is. Resistance to it, though, can create unnecessary blocks, and interference can be caused by a multitude of energies, including your own attitude, other people, the weather, and so on. So create the opportunity to regroup and don't feel the need to fight what is happening. It's just a waste of energy. Find something else to do and wait until there's a better flow to finish the task at hand. The willingness to try something new is all that's needed to create something wonderful. So it could be just fear unnecessarily itself that is causing you to pause right now. And maybe that's not a bad thing, and maybe we need to stop making it one. Okay, so let's see what the Sacred Traveler has to say, and then we'll get one from the Soul Coaching deck. And these are both by Denise Lynn. Ooh. There's one in there that wants to come out, but I'm not sure which one it was. Keep going. There it is. Okay. Nice. So right now it's about choosing your path, okay? And remember, there's no limits because all is possible, right? That's funny. I opened right up to it and then tried to go to the next card. So maybe this is going to be a quick process of choosing, right? So the card meaning for this says, new vistas are ahead and you have the power to choose. And within this is your freedom. Do not allow the restrictions and limitations placed on you by the expectations of others to deter your path. Be daring. Cast aside conventions and restrictions. Dance. Laugh. Explore. Go beyond your predictable behavior. Say yes to life. You support others by stepping into their freedom, too. So, the Sacred Traveler wants you to know, choose life on your terms. Move beyond those situations that you've outgrown. Sometimes, to be free, the traveler needs to put down his pack and just keep walking. There are times to live an ordinary life, but there are also times to cast ordinary things aside and fling your arms to the heavens in joy. You're not on the planet to always meet the needs and expectations of others. You're here to explore, expand, and step into your extraordinary self. Don't unconditionally accept the rules you have placed on yourself or that others have placed on you. Choose pathways that lead to greater freedom and happiness for you and yours. Okay? And we're going to do that by a jumper. And it's 2. And you're going to laugh at this. We're going to do that by staying in the flow and realizing that we've already reached that point in our fulfillment. So, flow says, it's time to let go. You're entering a period of gracious ease and flow. All is unfolding perfectly and with good timing. Another confirmation. Remember, everything is falling into place because you aren't resisting the drift of the great river. Just float. So, your soul wants you to know, when you're in a state of flow, you aren't pushing the river to go faster and you aren't swimming against it. You just let go of the shore and enjoy the ride. A Native American saying is, it's best to ride the horse the direction that it's going, right? If you aren't feeling the smooth currents of life, it might mean you're trying to control situations in your life, or you're being self-critical or judgmental. The way to move into flow is through gratitude and appreciation, and by allowing others to support and help you and love you. So, affirmation, well, I guess we get 2 affirmations, are, the glory of the universe flows through me, is going to be this full moon affirmation, okay? And we get a bonus with fulfillment too. So remember, when you're feeling a little bit stressed, say, the glory of the universe flows through me. Now let's see what fulfillment has to say. Okay? So fulfillment, I love the picture on fulfillment, right? Isn't that cute? So fulfillment says, deep satisfaction and emotional contentment will be unfolding in your life. Will be unfolding in your life. Do you hear that? So, soon you will be reaping inner and outer riches and opportunities. Honor your success and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Your soul wants you to know fulfillment comes from completion of your efforts. You planted the seeds, nurtured and cared for them, and now it's time to harvest the rewards. If you harbor perfectionist qualities within you, it's often difficult to experience deep fulfillment. So, if you're self-critical, it's hard to experience contentment. Remember this: who you are is good enough. Okay? The secret of fulfillment is to practice positive thoughts because they connect you to your soul. So, from an attitude of joy, your desires can be fulfilled. And our second affirmation for this full moon period is joy abounds in all areas of my life. So, that together says, the glory of the universe flows through me, and joy abounds in all areas of my life. And that's where I'm going to leave all of you today. May favor follow every one of you wherever you go. That you spread it out to every single life you touch. And let's see how big we can make this love bubble, right? So, get out there, team love. Remember, if you ever need a reminder, I'm always here. If you'd like to give back a little bit of love, you can hit the PayPal link in the box below and donate $3 and help support the collective growth consciousness here at the Diedrich Homestead. And as we start some pretty scary and new chapters in our existence here. So stay posted for those too. So if you missed it as well, you can find me back on social media, and the links are also in the description box below for that as well. Thank you, Vanessa and Sandra, for being beautiful reminders of the collective consciousness that's watching me. You do keep me accountable. I love you all, and I've missed you greatly, and I'm looking forward to more chats back here at YouTube home. Bye, everyone. Be good. Be good to yourselves, but most of all, be good to each other. And if you can give back to Gaia in some way, do it.